and they eventually, I think, will divide the fox sparrow into different species. That's a fox sparrow on the top of the berry bush here. You can hear his little...
One of our winter residents.
Yep, they'll be here all winter. Often you'll see them on the edge of a flock of smaller sparrows, the golden crowns and the white.
I use the Greenway to go to work. I commute from Talent to Ashland, weather permitting. So it would be 3 days a week, and then on my days off, I go to Ashland. It's just a wonderful, beautiful way. I use it because it's my health insurance plan. And also, I just love the nature, I love the smells, I love the, being away from traffic. That's it. It's just healthy, it's beautiful.
This is a male northern flicker.
Is the red mark specific for the male?
Yeah, the mustache is on the males. And our flickers here are what they call red shafted, which means when they fly, you see red sort of in the wing, in the armpits of the wings and underneath the wings. And there's a starling. You can see how big he is compared to the starling now. He's almost twice as big. Neither one of them has much of a tail, so it's mostly body and beak.
One of the dominant trees along Bear Creek is the white alder. It can be identified by its smooth gray bark that is usually splotched with lichens. It has alternate egg-shaped leaves with sawtooth margins, but its most distinctive characteristic is the little woody cones it develops. Nodules on its roots capture nitrogen from the air for use by the tree. This nitrogen-fixing capability enhances soil productivity, benefiting other plants as well. Indians used its leaves, both fresh and in tea, for medicinal purposes. The bark is used to dye and tan leather, and the roots were used in basketry.
The crow has to flap its wings to stay in the air, but the raven can soar like a hawk. They have much larger wings, much larger wing surface. So if you see a blackbird soaring around in a circle, it's not a vulture, it's going to be a raven. Crows can't do that. Oh, there's a scrub jay.
Here's a downy woodpecker, our smallest woodpecker, and there's a male and his hummingbird landing right next to him. Give you a size comparison. The downy will be looking for insects and spiders that he can find on branches, and if there are leaves, he'll even look underneath the bottoms of the leaves.
This is a golden crowned sparrow perched on a weed stalk. They're very common birds along the Greenway in the fall and winter. Anyone wants to look at him?
Along the trail, you'll see a lot of teasel. The name teasel derives from the fact that it was introduced from Europe for teasing or carding wool.
Here's a red-winged blackbird sitting in the cattails. They nest in the cattails in the spring and often will feed there throughout the summer and even in the winter when you often see them in very large flocks. This is a male. You can see his shoulder patch. The female is a brown, streaky bird with no black feathers at all.
I love to bring my dog down to walk on the Greenway. It's a place to get away from the city, listen to the birds, and try to get some serenity from a hectic day.
We walk our dog down here, and sometimes I bring my scooter. And it's fun because there's not like big city stuff around, so.
I enjoy running on the Greenway because you don't have the cars or the noises of the road, and it's an enjoyable place to come and get some exercise and enjoy the weather.
And Lily loves the Greenway.
Yes, she does.
She's a doggy.
This is a pair of acorn woodpeckers. They're colonial birds. You often see them in small groups or pairs. These two seem to be working on a branch. They're common anywhere where there's oak trees along the Greenway. You may hear their maniacal laugh and often see their black and white bodies moving through the air or up and down a tree or a tree limb. There's a large colony of acorn woodpeckers that live in these trees along Bear Creek. And this branch is one of several that they use to store their acorns for the winter and the spring. They drill holes that are just big enough to hold individual acorns. Then they go around and harvest the acorns and stick them in the branch. And then the entire colony will protect this storehouse, this granary, if you will, from squirrels, scrub jays, anybody else who might want to steal the acorns. And this is part of the way they survive long winters or even droughts. They'll store enough acorns that they can last for 2 to 3 years. Here's a group of acorn woodpeckers together. Looks like there's at least 5 of them up here on this tree. Very common to see them. They're discussing the day's events and their next plan for where they're going to find more acorns. These two must be on lunch break. They're not going to go back to work for a while.
The robins are over here in this yellow tree.
Another tree that's abundant all along Bear Creek is the willow. Willows are small, shrubby trees with many branches growing in large clumps. They have long, narrow, pointed leaves and thin, supple twigs. The twigs have been used to make baskets and fish traps for centuries, and more recently, twig furniture. The tough springy wood is also used for croquet balls and cricket bats. These twigs are rich in vitamin C and serve the Indians as toothbrushes. The bitter, astringent, aromatic bark contains the same compound as aspirin, salicin, and was chewed or made into tea for the same purpose that aspirin is used today.
Look carefully in the distance. Those are wood ducks upstream on Bear Creek. We're standing near the bridge, near the dog park in Ashland. This is a kingfisher sitting on the branch right here. That was a salmon that jumped. Of course, he's too big for the kingfisher. Kingfisher really needs a small fish, minnow size. And we're going to go back over and see if the wood ducks are still there, upstream from us. Yes, there they are. They're in the pool upstream from where we're standing. Looks like quite a few of them.
This bridge over Bear Creek, just upstream from the point where Ashland Creek feeds into Bear Creek, required extensive repairs to its north abutment in 2007, resulting from high water 2 years earlier, which severely eroded the east bank, and you can see how that bank has been reinforced with logs.
We come out here every day for a little walk. It's nice and flat. And it's a great place to walk your dog. My husband rides his bike. We look at birds. There's a big owl that lives out here. There's always big birds flying by. And this pathway is one of the nicest and most unique additions to the valley because it connects all of us. And it's a great way to get all the way through the valley if you want.
This is a Cooper's hawk. They're often found hunting along the Greenway. They eat small birds, so if there's a Cooper's hawk around, it's likely you're not going to see very many other birds.